Castlegar, British Columbia, Canada. My hometown. It's a small city of roughly 8,000 people, nestled in the mountains of the West Kootenays. It boasts a pulp mill, a regional airport, and beautiful natural surroundings. Nothing ever really happens in Castlegar. It's the kind of place where a new welcome sign or a spree of armed robberies quickly become the talk of the town. But, above all that, Castlegar is a town that does not have a poet laureate. At least, not yet.
Hi, my name is Tristan Wheeler, and I want to become the poet laureate of Castlegar, British Columbia. But what exactly is a poet laureate? Well, a poet laureate is the official poet of a city, country, or institution. They write poems for special events, and they are the shepherd for the written word in a given area. The United States has a poet laureate. Canada has a poet laureate. And hopefully soon, Castlegar, British Columbia will have a poet laureate. And that poet laureate's name will be Tristan Wheeler. But how exactly does someone become the poet laureate of a small town? That's a good question.
The initial steps of my journey were taken not in Castlegar, but in the shining metropolis of Toronto, Ontario. The first thing I did was start work on a book of poems, marking my poetry debut. My book would show Mayor Kirk Duff and the people of Castlegar that their city has produced a brilliant artist who deserves to be its official poet. It would be my magnum opus. The next thing I did was set up an online page announcing my campaign. I invited everyone I knew, even my university roommate Jack, who said to never contact him again. After that, I sent an expertly worded email requesting to appear before Castlegar City Council as a delegation. I soon realized that for my candidacy to be taken seriously, I would have to go back home. After 5 hours of flying and 3 of driving, I was ready to begin my campaign in earnest. My request to appear before Castlegar City Council was approved. So, while I awaited the day, I campaigned to garner support for my cause. In an effort to draw interest from Castlegar's youth, I stopped by a local beach that I used to frequent. Growing up, this beach was always a place of love and positivity. But today, it seemed that my presence was not appreciated by these young people. However, one curious beachgoer was interested in talking to me.
So, I'm here with
Rob.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
After explaining to Rob what exactly a poet laureate was, I asked him if he thought Castlegar needed one.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty cool. If you're doing something that's entrepreneurial, we need entrepreneurs in the world. So anytime there's any sort of like creative ideas and stuff like that, I'm all for that. I mean, I have a couple side hustles and stuff
Rob
like
taught
that.
me an exercise where you ask yourself 7 why questions as a way of understanding your motivations in
Why
life.
you're doing this 7 times, you'll understand the real meaning of why you're doing it.
Why am I doing this?
No.
After some confusion, I eventually caught on.
Because if I die one day, when I die, I want to be able to be like, yeah, that was a good life I had. That's
Okay,
good.
so that would maybe be the answer to the 6th why. So the 7th why is that legacy so important to you then?
Went back home to the house I grew up in, the same place. At least I think so. Fans whisper when they're on. A building crumbles if you stay in it too long. I guess I An apple to be that. Oh man, that sucks. City Hall out of red brick and cement. We watched it go up. If we're lucky, maybe we'll see it come down.
My book of 61 poems, entitled Convergence, was finally done. I shared it with my many contacts, including my old English professor, to generate buzz in the literary community.
Have you ever seen me write a poem or read a poem I've written?
I think so.
My next stop on the campaign trail was at a local park and swimming area where I was once almost drowned by a pack of older boys. It was here I met an old couple who had first moved to Castlegar nearly 50 years ago.
I'm here with
Tony and Anne.
So I'm trying to become the Poet Laureate of Castlegar. Are you guys aware of the role of the Poet Laureate?
Sure.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yes.
And I was wondering, would you express support for that mission?
No, I'm
No,
not.
not really.
Do you think there should be a Poet Laureate?
Absolutely.
If I wasn't doing this, would you say that?
Wow.
Yeah, I guess why is that legacy so important to you then? Why is that legacy so
It started to become increasingly clear that the people of Castlegar didn't really care about having a poet laureate. What's the point of continuing on if no one in Castlegar, not even my childhood best friend, wants this except for me? City doesn't have it. No one needs it. No one wants it.
Calling into the meeting via telephone will be able to hear the meeting. Your line will be muted until the question period at the end of this meeting. The meeting's agenda is available at castlegar.ca. If you require support during the meeting, please email bseabrook@castlegar.ca or call 250-304-8133. All right. We have a delegation tonight. Tristan Wheeler. It's all yours.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tristan Wheeler, and this is my presentation for why Castlegar needs a Poet Laureate and why I, Tristan Wheeler, should be that. Why does Castlegar need a Poet Laureate? Well, that's I grew up in Castlegar, like I said. I attended school where I read a poem in front of class in grade 4 once, and also I wrote a poem in grade 7. Then, in summation, I think that there should be a Poet Laureate of Castlegar, BC, and I think that I, Tristan Wheeler, should be that Poet Laureate. Thank you, and I will take questions.
Councillor Heaton.
Why don't you say one of your poems? You actually have one about City Hall.
Yeah. This one's called City Hall 2007. They built City Hall out of red brick and cement. We watched it go up. If we're lucky, maybe we'll see it come down. Like I said, I sent you all the books, so feel free to peruse it and at your own discretion.
Through your worship. Great job, Tristan. It takes a lot of courage to come on here and try and sell yourself, and I think you did an amazing job. I'm not sure how the process might work, but I'm all in. I think it'd be a great idea and something unique, like you say. Nobody else has that in the West Coast.
I had won over most of council, including councillors McLeod, Price,
Amazing presentation.
and McFadden. But the person whose opinion mattered the most was Mayor Kirk Duff.
Listening to you, it kind of, it's funny, but it kind of made me kind of excited about the concept and intriguing and the possibilities of what we could do as a community with this. And so thank you for that. And thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time.
Members of council are quite enthusiastic about it, and rightly so. And as Chris mentioned, we'll be discussing this under our correspondence. But once again, thank you very much for coming and speaking with us and saying a couple of your poems. Much appreciated.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time, guys. Yeah.
Bye. Okay, who would like to make the motion for Tristan Wheeler?
I'll make the motion that we ask Tristan Wheeler if he'll be the Poet Laureate for the City of Castlegar.
I'll second that motion.
So the motion's on the floor to recommend the process to us. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you.